Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Frieren. Season 1, Episode 16. Long-lived friends. Pretty scary. Pretty scary title.
Yeah.
And we'll see what it means in this episode of Frieren. Leave a like and subscribe. Let's go. Uncuts are on Patreon for all the episodes that are not currently available on YouTube. You can check patreon.com/BOLDcast, link in the description. Okay, let's go. Listen, I don't know what it means either, but it seems pretty cool.
Why is he walking like that?
I don't know, he's walking really like a dream.
Hmm.
"29 years in Clar."
Oh. Hey, finally we may get some lore.
Oh
300
shit.
years. Why is she looking like that? Oh, really? He just stands guard by the
He's
door.
already
He's like
dead.
asleep.
He seems like he should be pampered.
I thought he was gonna be like deaf. He couldn't even hear what they were saying. Blind.
He doesn't remember. And this dwarf uses a sword. He's basically doing what Fern and Frieren do with their aura, but instead just with his brain. Or his mind, I guess.
Fern's face.
You probably noticed that he was like a dwarf student, unless he's a pen pal with
I can't walk. Well, we'll leave you to it then.
But everybody's really happy that they're here right now. At such an opportune time, they're like
Picking everything. I should have done Fern in this outfit instead.
Yeah.
Look how beautiful it is.
Nobody knows why. You must have fallen in love with a human here, I bet. On a boulder. You got a whole chicken.
They all did.
They all had a whole chicken. They're just they're yapping over there. Or Frieren's just talking. He's just listening. Frieren looks really happy here. Like she's just smiling the whole time. That's not
Maybe
normal.
she should stay here for a decade.
Training arc.
Hmm.
It was the same.
昔の話だ。どうでもいいだろう。人はどうでもいいことに命をかけない。妻の愛した村を守っているだけだ。人間だった。
Called it.
わしは遠い昔に交わした約束を果たしているに過ぎん。詳しく話すつもりはない。どうせあの人の眼差しも伝わらん。これはわしだけの思い出だ。話だろう。わしはずっと死者との約束を守っている。そうだね。その人はあなたが約束を守ってくれて嬉しく思っているはずだ。ヒンメル、お前はいい勇者。打ち倒すだろう。魔王が撃たれた平和な時代が訪れるのを望んでいた。ヒンメルという偉大な勇者の記憶を連れて行ってやろう。ありがたい話だけれども、そこまでしてもらう必要は。パーティーにはフリーレンもアイゼンもいる。俺はエルフほど長生きせんぞ。フリーレンの役目だな。彼女が未来に連れて行ってくれる。そうだろ？別にいいけど。
Just made like a crazy vow randomly.
生まれたな。じゃあ後でフリーレンに
Maybe I'll forget. Erase this from my memory, please.
勇者の顔は覚えているか？当たり前でしょ。声は？私をバカにしないでよ。全部覚えている。ヒンメルは私が人間を知ろうとしたきっかけだよ。村を守ろうと思ったきっかけと同じで大切なことだ。そうか、きっかけか。わしはもうない。顔も声も眼差しも大切な何かのためにこの村を守っている。フルジーは冗談がうまいね。ところで、お前たちの旅の目的地どこなんだ？魂の眠る地、フレオールを目指しているよ。縁で魔王城がある場所だよ。そうか。王を倒しに行くのか。訪れるといいな。フォルジーはもうどうした？僕も私が未来に連れて行ってあげるからね。うん。
I mean, this whole episode's so sad.
人生の最後にお前に会えてよかった。10年前に同じこと言っていたよ。
And Eisen says the same thing like every time as well. Oh, I'm getting old.
Once they're gonna be leaving, they're gonna be expecting this like big goodbye. He's just gonna be dead. Is he literally dead right now? Okay, no. Jesus. That's nice. I thought that was gonna be it. God damn, that was only half the episode. That felt like a whole episode already. I love how they introduce like the photo at the beginning to illustrate that it's not like just to remind people that that wouldn't be a common thing.
Yeah.
And then introduce a guy who's like forgetting the face of his wife. Because it might not be something you think about.
10年前に旅に出た親友と合流。そういえばそうだった。写真か、珍しいの。村に来た魔法使いに撮ってもらったんだ。目撃情報があった。このまま北上で問題ないだろうな。
I've already met people who met him. Damn.
よく目撃情報が残っているな。名
They're all just like,
He's literally is
Whoa.
like, he talks like a fucking child. He has like a superhero name like a little kid would have. So he'd be remembered. Were you
Did
the
you make
goatee
that
priest
when you were 12?
When you were 12? Yeah, exactly. I love Fern is just so inconsiderate. Are we still talking about this? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
She grew up with Frieren. What can you expect?
Are we still talking about this? What do you
We're
mean?
in the middle of a
You know how often we
conversation,
talk about
Fern.
you and your fucking like love quarrels with Stark and all your little bullshit, whining about your birthday present. He's talking about his long lost best friend. Are we still talking about this?
I love how the people remember.
I love how they just repeat what he said. He was kind of a badass. It seems like maybe he's alive. He's like going town to town. Everybody remembers him 10 years later. He's like old woman. I'm like old woman, but it's Obasa. That's...
Wow, all the people in these towns really seem like NPCs.
Side quest. She doesn't remember.
Where do you think she learned about side questing?
He's deaf from hammering the fucking iron. Oh my god. A cockatrice. Maybe not. Maybe just a giant chicken. I think it was just a giant chicken. That's a chimera.
She's like, no one helps me anymore.
That's
I'm
why.
old, I just need my chores done.
That's why she got close with Gorilla Man, because he was the only one who would help.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he became really close with this old lady, but she's really stubborn. Hero statue. We think it's gonna be Himmel's statue, but it's really him. Oh, maybe. Maybe it literally is just Himmel's statue.
It wasn't even that long ago. I don't know, you're a prince with a goatee.
It's fucking no, it's the guy we ran into.
Yeah.
It's the elf. Kraft, yeah.
Damn.
Damn, he's in like a toga. Then who's on the other side? Is that, like, it looks like
I think I said it's gorilla, whatever.
That statue inspired them. I was gonna say it looks like him, but
He's doing a good job. But I don't have a goatee. Imagine if, as he grew up, he was able to grow, like, facial hair everywhere except, like, not on his chin. I wonder if that's, like, his ancestor.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
If multiple people are saying that it looks just like him.
リラにも同じことを頼んだが、あいつはここまでうまくはできなかった。
あいつは戦いしか取り柄がない。
でも名前のインパクトはバッチリだったよ。ゴリラはあんたのことよく話してたよ。を残すような英雄になるってね。
I really hope he's not dead.
Me too.
That would be so sad.
ゴリラの行き先分かった？
テューは北側諸国中部の
はるかと、
Mm.
ボイサーストとは反対方向だね。
Time to split up, I guess.
どうしたもんかね。一人ずつ隣の部屋に来なさい。
仲裁は僧侶の仕事が難しいです。
気づかんわ。
Medicine.
じゃあ元気で。
That's not
No!
good. That's not
I don't
good.
want them to split up.
But he's got to find his friend.
I know, but he's already waited 10 years.
Well,
The
yeah.
trail's not gonna get any colder.
I mean, it could get warmer if he fucking follows
I
it.
know, I know, I know.
That sucks.
Yeah. I love Frieren being able to talk with old man Vol.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice. And, you know, they just had such a great time. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. I like the structure of that whole part of the thing, because, yeah, when he's a kid... Like, this whole episode was structured really well, because it started out with them, as kids, getting their picture taken to remind you, the viewer, that they don't have pictures. You had to either get a portrait done, or I guess there's people in magic that can do it, but it's not common at all. Like, it's very, very rare to have a picture. And he has one, and that's how he's able to remember his friend so vividly, of course, obviously, because of all the memories, but then we meet this old guy who forgot his wife's face. And is kind of like a reminder to Frieren, like, in a way, like he's kind of like a reflection of her.
It's
in a
like,
way.
even if you can't remember what someone looked like or sounded like or whatever, you can still remember how they made you feel.
Exactly.
And like what they inspired you to do.
And yeah, what carries him on is not like anything superficial. It's the love that he felt for her, and that's really beautiful. And then, I love how when they're talking here, it's like they're focusing fully on Himmel, because Himmel is kind of like the wife in the scenario.
Yeah.
Where Frieren needs to like sort of carry on the promise that she made in the same way that the old man needs to. So that's cool.
Very sad.
And it's like they don't even show anyone. They don't even show Frieren until like the very end. But like they keep cutting just between his face, a wide shot, and obviously the flashback, and then just Himmel. And like we see this reaction, but it keeps zooming in real close on Himmel's like reaction to what he's saying.
I also love how this guy has outlived the usual life expectancy of a dwarf by 100 years.
It's love, man. It's love. It keeps him alive.
Which is kind of extra sad because, like, his wife died. So, like, obviously he wants to protect the town. But then he's just like, prolonging his time without her as well, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's like he's living extra long because he's so inspired by her, but him living extra long...
It puts more distance between them. Yeah.
And then he...
But also brings him closer, because it's doing this that allows him to be close to her. Whereas if he just died, he'd be even further away.
Yeah.
And if he, forgot about her, he'd be even further away. So the fact that he's remembering so strongly keeps him closer to his wife than he ever could be otherwise. So it's kind of both. It goes both ways. And it's interesting he uses a sword. I know not all dwarfs use the same weapon, because not all humans use the same weapon, obviously. But I thought we were going to get more about Stark and him, but we just had a Stark episode that wasn't really the theme with his character, so that makes sense. But I thought we were going to get a little bit more. because like they keep going back. It feels like they keep teasing that like Stark is going to sort of re-accept his heritage as a sword boy or something. Like there was all the stuff of him possibly teasing he's gonna pull out the sword, learning, like reconnecting with his heritage with the people in the last episode, and like learning handling a sword a little bit more. And then there's this dwarf who's like his other teacher, but he uses a sword. There's more that I'm forgetting, but I don't know how much that's actually going to be material in the story. I doubt it will be very much. Maybe it will, but I doubt it. It's just weird coincidences, but.
I love how in everything we're watching right now, you're so zeroed in on the weapons. You're like, this guy has a sword. What does this mean?
What are you talking
In
about?
like Jujutsu, you're talking about swords, and then in One Piece, you're always going on about the swords. Is that this kind of sword? I wonder what this sword is.
Well, in One Piece, it's a really
I
huge
know,
part of the
I know,
story.
I'm just
In Jujutsu, it's a really huge part of the story, and in this, they're setting up. It's not. Why are you focusing on? You're focusing so much on the love that these characters feel towards each other. It's so weird. It's such a weird theme between you. Whenever you're watching a story about love, there's like so much. You're thinking about love so much. I just don't get it.
I'm just making a joke because it's
yeah, and I'm being totally serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how banter works, is you make a joke and then I'm completely serious, and that's the only way that it can go. Like, I can't make a joke back. It's not allowed, so then you get to cut me off and say, I'm just making a joke. Don't stop taking it so serious. And that's how it works every time.
Yeah, that was so sad with, I don't know, just Frieren just hanging out and having such a good time talking about
She was so happy the whole time. Like, they keep cutting her and she's like, she's just so engrossed. And with that, it's funny because like she keeps talking at the start about, oh, I'm gonna spend a decade here. And they're like, literally no, we're not. I'm not wasting most of my 20s hanging out with you in this fucking village. That's not happening. So, but what was I saying? But she can't waste time like she used to. You know, she's kind of learning her lesson a little bit, and the way that she's kind of making the most of the time here. Yeah. It's exactly what she needs to do, because now she's because of all she's with a bunch of humans, she can't just spend a decade here. And that in like a very sort of direct causal way forces her to really spend the time that she won't be able to get back with this person from her past, like in a way that we might, or in a way that a normal person might, where you visit an old relative or somebody that you like, an old person who's dying or who is really old and lives far away. You visit and you don't just like chit chat for 6 months every once a week. Just because you're visiting for like a long time or whatever, or I guess for Frieren.
Stay there for 10 years.
Or just stay there, like, oh, I'm staying here for 2 weeks. For Frieren, it would be like 2 weeks or a month or something, like a decade. She's so much older. I don't know if the math works out that way necessarily, but regardless, you get what I'm saying. You're visiting for a short amount of time and you live far away. When's the next time you'll be back here type thing? So like you better make the most of it. Whereas if she could live as she normally did without that constraint, she could just like spend as much time as she wanted there until she was totally satisfied.
Her typical and usual thing would be she would show up like briefly and then take off and be like, oh, I'll come back in 100 years or 50 years. And like just completely inconsiderate
so I guess
of
it's
other
2
people's
steps.
lives. So it's an interesting
thing.
Because it's like, oh, I'll meet up for this one day with you after 50 years and then I'll take off again immediately. And it's like, to everyone else, that sounds absolutely insane. And I think like now at this point in her journey, she's realized that if she's going to spend time with people, she needs to really make the most of it and be like realistic with herself. Of like, okay, this is probably gonna be the last time that I see them, or just be okay with it instead of being kind of delusional of like, oh, I don't even care about these people. I'll see them again, or I won't. I don't care,
I always think about stuff like this with like elf characters. Like I think about writing a semi-immortal like race if I were to write a fantasy or something. And I always think like we talked about earlier on how like humans learn faster, like for this world, for example, and in other things, it's like the benefit to humans despite their short life is that they're very creative compared to other races. But because we're human, like us in real life are human, we don't feel like we're more creative than a fictional elf. So we're kind of like the baseline. Whereas I feel like in fantasy, it's like, oh, there's all these crazy races, but then the humans are the pinnacle. They're like made in God's image, or they're like, you know, whatever.
They're like so weak, but there's a lot of like.
But it's like a
upsides
self-insert.
to it.
It's kind of like an isekai, how like an isekai protagonist is written super powerful. It's like, because that's how you insert yourself into the story. It's like you relate more to, I guess, Frodo, but also like Aragorn being like a human amongst all these crazy things.
And he's a little bit more long-lived, but he's kind of magic. He's like 80 years old, and
but like the dilemma between him and fucking what's her name?
Arwen,
yeah. Is you know, that's the dilemma there. But anyway, I was thinking about that, like if I were to write like a fantasy, I always think, because we're the baseline, I always consider like how interesting it would be if like the elves weren't just like, because conversate, like think about the experience of time. It's like elves live a long time, but they still have to have conversations. They talk at the same speed. They walk at the same speed. So like it's not like they're just living, you know, and they learn the same speed, relatively speaking. They just have a benefit without the cost. So I always wonder, like, how interesting would it be if, like, this is kind of speculative and just my own weird little thing, but, like, if elves just didn't learn, like, if they were, like, mentally challenging compared to, like, a normal person, not like that, but, like, just that they can't pick, like, they need to drill something over time, but to them it feels normal. It's like how it takes us hours.
Yeah, it's like,
you know, if it scales on every level.
It's like spend 1,000 hours doing something.
10,000 hours, you become a master of it, yeah. But for elves, because they live 10 times, 20 times longer than us.
It's like they have to spend that much time more to learn the same thing. So
they need to spend years, relatively speaking, to something that would take us. But in fantasy, it doesn't really turn out that way because there's usually a plot going on where, like, they can't take that long for... you know, it's not. It doesn't work. Well,
that's when you get something like this, where Frieren is completely emotionally stunted, but she's like with some like 18-year-olds, and then like a guy in his 30s that wasn't really doing anything with his life. Yeah. So like they said, 20s. I think they said in this episode, it's like, oh, our entire party is socially awkward or whatever, because when they're trying to win over that old lady, it's like. Yeah, that's pretty true.
Mm-hmm. And then there's all the stuff with Zane. Mm-hmm. And I love, again, like how they structure the episode. They start out with that, connect that, and it's like it feels very, very clearly like a setup for the story we just saw, and then it reconnects. So then it's like that whole story that was set up by them. It's like it compounds, and they all work together. And then we encounter this stubborn old lady. And she's very stubborn. She makes them all go kill monsters and shit. And, you know, travel around, and they spend a bunch of time there.
I just love it how they're like, oh, there's a stubborn old lady up in the hill.
I'm a
stubborn old lady.
That's what I am.
Good to go do all these quests for me. And then I also love how it's like, he picked that name because it was memorable. Ah, yes, I remember him. He had a very memorable name, and he made quite the impression. I love that detail. And, like, even... Like, I think Fern and Stark were like, oh my god, like, why are they like this? Why are they being like this? They're so weird. Like, why is she calling herself stubborn? Mm-hmm. It's so funny because it's like, they're just behaving like complete, like, the most NPC type people that you can imagine. Yeah. Of just like, go to the blacksmith of this town. Hi, I'm the stubborn old lady. I need you to do some quests for me. Take this and go to the next town over. And then you do that, come back. Now do this unrelated thing, and then it's like you finally get something, and it was just like it was good.
All she did was walk down some stairs and then show you.
And she was like, "Clean the statue."
I mean, that's not true. She told them where he went.
Yeah, but it's just so funny to me that like even the town like. Oh yes, I remember that because he was very memorable, made quite the impression. It's like that's video game dialogue.
Yeah, it's great. And funny how they like got to the chest. I just skipped past it. They got to this chest. I thought Frieren. It was. That's what I thought. I thought it was gonna be another mimic thing. But
I also love how she immediately was like, "Oh, you're the goatee priest, aren't you?" And I love how he literally didn't have one.
Yeah.
until now, like he didn't have one, and then
but when his friend came through, he couldn't grow one, or like didn't have one, and then now that 10 years later, so he knew that he would follow through with it eventually, or rather, if he did show up here looking for him, that he would be following that trend that they set, that he would remember that. So he has faith in his friend like that, which is really cool. It's gonna suck ass if he's dead, because he might be, and then he'll have a reason to go to heaven with them.
The whole thing was like the episode title is called "Long Live Friends," plural, and I know Frieren said that in reference to the old guy, but at the same time I'm like that he has the fact that he has a picture of his friend, and it's like their friendship is kind of like forever in like this little thing, so like even if he's dead, they're still like living in this
again
like
set
memory.
up with the old man, how he's like carrying on his wife's memory, and how he it's what matters is not what she looked like or anything, it's the love that they shared and everything, and so
and so much of the story is about like carrying on the memories of people that are already dead. So it's sad. But then I wonder if he is dead. Like, what if like Kraft is still alive? What if he went and like found Kraft and teamed up with him, and he was the descendant of whoever this dude was that was with him? Like, that would be crazy as well.
I mean, the way we interacted with Kraft, this statue is probably 1,000 years old. Like the fact that it's not what clues you in as well to just how old Kraft is. Like the way that he talked when we saw him, he clearly had gone through many different character arcs. Like he felt very much like this wasn't his first personality or his second personality or his third personality. The fact that Frieren's like, oh, if this was a bronze statue, we could have done it instantly. I think that's reference to another spell that she's got along the course of the show. But if we're talking about like the materials of building statues, were Himmel's statues stone or were they bronze?
They were mostly stone, I think.
I guess I wonder.
I think it just depends on like if you're in like a fancy town, then it will be bronze potentially, and if you're in like one of these shitty little side
I just
villages,
wondered if it was like a storytelling method that like as humans progress with their building materials and their ability to make statues, they like use bronze to craft things, and that's like a development in technology. So then these stone statues, these could be like ancient compared to how they make them today. But yeah, you think back in Himmel statues are usually stone. So like who knows? But maybe that was something. Maybe it was just a callback to a previous thing. But because again, also with the style of clothes that they have, it's like this Roman fucking armor. Or like cloak and like the little medallion thing, very much like Flamme, like how Flamme dressed. But Flamme might have even looked a little bit older, but or maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to tell because there's no color here as well. But anyway, they're again using the clothing to denote age difference and stuff. But and the fact this sword is a little bit, I guess you can't really tell much by the sword anyway. Is that the hero's sword? No. Probably not. That would be crazy if it was. But also interesting, he's multi-classed. Kraft has classed to do a different he's now a priest. That's why he's a priest.
Because
that's
of this
why
guy.
he's a priest.
Oh my god.
He's a priest
You're
now.
so smart.
He is a priest now because he was a warrior and he was all about power, because apparently Kraft means power, shout out comments. And fucking he was a fighter, and he was all about that. And then his friend was a priest, and they adventured together. Then he became a priest and found God through his friend, and now he worships the goddess. Again, similar thing to maintain the relationship to the memory of his best friend.
Yeah, very similar to Eisen now, like praying, because his
of Hyder.
Yeah, because it's like his mortal friend that died believed in heaven, so he should. Do something about it. Kind of interesting.
I was just thinking that, like, he was like I thought he was, he's like a monk. He is a monk, not like a priest, but like class. He changed class from a fighter. Maybe he had like magic, or he's a paladin or some weird shit like combination. But if this guy is supposed, and we don't even know if this guy was, but the fact that he looks like Zane, I think is a little signpost there. Mm-hmm. Like they look exactly like, they're said to look exactly alike. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just like a visual thing that conflicts with like what's going on. He's holding a book. Mm-hmm. And he's got a necklace by the looks of it. We didn't really see what was around his neck. Yeah, he has like a holy symbol around his neck. We only really see the string. We don't see that, but that's sick.
Mm-hmm. That was really cool.
Craft is so interesting. I wonder if we'll run into him again. Probably not.
I think we
not on this journey.
You think?
We'll probably run into him again.
I think we're gonna run into him again. I think especially if, like, I don't know, if Zane goes away, like, maybe we'll run into him again and maybe he'll be with Kraft and then we'll, like, see something. I don't know.
Yeah, what if he joins up with Kraft in search of his friend or something?
Yeah, or Kraft knows that his friend died and then, like, tells him about it. I don't know. But I love this show. I just love how, like, calm and, like, sad, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just very relaxing to watch. Mm-hmm.
Why can't they go to both places?
That's what I'm wondering, because it's like,
looking at the map here,
I know that it's
are
like,
they in Offen over there? Or I thought they were in Clar at the beginning. I guess they're kind of over in this area.
But they need to go there.
I don't know why they went this way. Maybe there's a pass through the mountains or something. There's a mountain here.
Yeah, you probably have to, like, they need to go there, but then he wants to go there. But I don't see, like, if they're going north anyway.
You can't just go here and then go around,
north.
or... I feel like you could make it work. It would be a
That's
detour.
What I'm saying, like,
but it's also just more dangerous.
For...
It's just more dangerous. Like these, like, that's a thing that I think it's kind of overlooked because they're also competent. But, like, you know, journeying unnecessarily into the belly of the beast, this, like, northern fucking possibly snowy wasteland, in search of a guy who probably has been dead for 5 years or more, is not the best thing if they're, you know, if they have a journey to get to. But also, Frieren knows the value, being that she just went through the exact story that we just watched and is sort of like, you just talk to the old man, knows about craft, knows what it's like to, like, remember people and stuff like that, know what it's like to have to like seek out the memory, and knows that this probably means a lot to Zane. So, like, I think that she'll be okay with a detour if they can take one. But if they can't take one, then that makes things a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
But if it's a trading, isn't this a trading village? So, like, it's not just a dead end. Like, it's a trading village, so it's a nexus, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, just go to the place that you're going next, and then go there, unless where they're going after there is in a completely different direction. That's why I was saying, like...
Are they going to take a boat?
That's what I was saying, is, like, I don't think the trail's going to get any colder if they go there and then there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it could. Like, I mean, there could be one guy alive that remembers him, then he could die in the time that it takes to get there, but
they have no information based on that. They just know that, I feel like they could probably make it work. I'm not too worried about that, unless this map wasn't in the manga, you know, or unless there's some topography in the manga version of this map that is not being shown here that, like, makes it very clear that it's like there's a mountain
like
just splitting the entire, or like a chasm or something in the middle, or that they need to take a boat, like there's this, maybe this is like impassable, so, like, they can't go up there because then they have to come all the way back down. Maybe they have to go over here into this bay or something and take a ship over the fucking ice wall that's up there or whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe there's some information we don't have, but it seems like it would be a sizable detour of a few weeks to months, but it might be worth it.
But at the same time, we, like, stayed in a cabin for, like, all winter long.
For all of winter, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, do you remember if Kraft told us where he was going?
I don't think so. I think he was just like, I'm heading out.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he gave much information. He had that whole, like, thing about the goddess, and about, like, gave a lot of wisdom that I think that was a little bit maybe over our heads, or over Frieren's head, maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just chill. I don't know. I can't really remember. It was like a month ago or a week or a month ago or something like
A
that.
week. Yeah.
How many months ago was that? 2 months ago?
Like a month and a half, maybe.
Yeah. We could go back and check.
You want to?
Do you want to? We could.
I'm fine either way.
Let's go back. Let's go give it a look over and we can just not worry about it. Remember what episode it was?
No.
It was like early on. It was like episode 4 or 5 or something. I think it was episode 5. No, a little bit after. It was after they got Stark. Was it after all the demon shit?
I didn't think so, but maybe I'm just crazy. Oh yeah, there.
Oh damn, it was further into the show than I thought. I thought it was like way earlier.
女神様への感謝。お前たちのおかげで無事北側諸国フェルにこいつを北側
Is that his friend? Oh no, he made that. He's probably wearing his friend's holy symbol.
Probably.
こいつを
この世界の長い歴史の中で実際に姿を現したことは一度もない。
若いな。俺も昔はそうだった。だが今は心の底から女神様を信じている。いや、いてくれなきゃ困るんだ。俺の成してきた異名のせいに知っている奴らの死にたいか。
遠慮しておくよ。もう別のやつに褒めてもらってた。
そうか。いい友人を持ったな。大事にしよう。
I like how everybody keeps saying that to her. It's like, you have really good friends. The old man said that in the episode we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he gave Precious little. Oh shit, I didn't know that was the whole thing. Yeah, he didn't give very much, but he gave enough when you look back that you can see that, you know,
Yeah,
the
I
connective
like
tissues.
seeing that and how he like made one, but it was out of wood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like clearly that one was from the other one was probably from his friend.
Yeah, and it's a very simple symbol. Like we've seen other holy symbols, like they've remarked on them in other episodes, where like they're a little bit more ornate or like have a little bit more design to them. Whereas that one was just like the rod and then the wings, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was a very rudimentary holy symbol, which is good little visual storytelling, I guess. Very interesting.
Very.
Leave a like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next week, probably. See you then. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.